Give it a minute. Okay. Where are you going to do your thing?
Read this and then...
I'm going to read my statement.
Okay, as soon as you read your statement, then I'll go. Okay?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the April 15th, 2026 Select Board meeting to order. Mr. Muccio has joined us as our interim town manager. He's doing double duty. Actually, he's doing duty as interim town manager. I think we finally got your email sorted out.
Close.
Okay.
We're close.
As we were transitioning from Jim to Barry, I think we blew up the email system. Before we begin, we're going to make an effort to keep this session going along. There's some things we need to talk about. I'd like to read something into the record for everybody before we begin. And what I'd like to read is about the town manager recruitment effort. So the Select Board is announcing that we've retained Municipal Resources Incorporated, MRI, of Meredith, New Hampshire, to lead the search effort for the town manager position. The agreement is dated April 9th, 2026. Mr. Alan Gould, President of MRI, will lead the search effort. We're hopeful that the process will take 90 to 120 days. During that period, Mr. Muccio will serve as interim town manager, effective April 13th. All details pertaining to this effort will be posted on the town website. The contract with MRI will be posted immediately. The town manager position description and all related documents will be posted as they become available. Any person who wishes to submit their candidacy to the town manager position should reach out directly to Mr. Alan Gould. His contact information is contained in the contract on the website. We ask that you please follow this regimen and do not reach out to Select Board members or town staff concerning this effort. And the reason for that is we want to keep this process at arm's length and above board. That'll be put on the website this evening. I have a few other things to say, but Mr. Muccio, do we have a need for a non-public?
And I've been practicing this all day, so. Yes, under Chapter 91A, Section 3, Paragraph 2, Item B, hiring, and Paragraph 2L under legal advice.
Okay.
And I'd like to add C.
And we're going to add item C.
Item C, okay.
Thank you. Ms. Murray?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I move to change the Board of Selectmen's meeting start time from 6:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., ending all meetings at 9:30 p.m., and continue all unfinished agenda items to the following Wednesday at 6 p.m. The Select Board will reserve the right to hold a non-public session after 9 p.m.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Senecal. Any discussion? Mr. Duchesne.
Are we going to put a different time frame on the next meeting? So if we're going to have our regular meetings from 6 to 9:30, what are
6
the
to 9.
What is the follow-up meeting going to be if it occurs? 6 to 7:30, 6 to 8,
I would
6
say it
to
would
midnight?
be another meeting, 6 to 9,
6 to 9 from now on.
from now on all our meetings.
Well, you just said 6 to 9:30 for this last one.
No,
I thought I said 9.
She said 9. I think she did.
So,
Well, it was 9.
Well, she meant to say 9.
okay, so
9.
6 to 9 for this meeting. If there's a follow-up meeting, it's again 6 to 9.
Correct.
Then another one 6 to 9, another one 6 to 9.
That's right.
If we need that amount of time, I'm trying to stop it at 9 so we don't go until 12 in the morning. That's what this is. We get so late in the day, we get so tired, we don't make good decisions. I know community TV, it's hard for them to get a staff person. It's a part-time job. They have jobs in the morning. They don't want to stay up until 12 o'clock. So I'm trying to get it so it's a set. It's going from 6 to 9 whenever we meet, unless we vote to do something else.
Okay.
Any other conversation? Anybody else? I'm going to call this on a roll call. Mr. Senecal?
Yes.
Mr. Deshays?
Yes.
Ms. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Thurston?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien says yes. It's unanimous.
And then I'd like to make a motion that we end tonight's meeting at 9 p.m. with a non-public to follow.
I have a motion to end tonight's meeting at 9 p.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Deshays seconds the motion. Any discussion? Roll call vote. We'll go this way. John?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes?
Brian?
Yes.
Mr. Senecal, yes. Mr. O'Brien, yes. It's unanimous. We're going to end the meeting tonight at 9 o'clock. A couple of work items we did have on the agenda. John, go ahead. Sorry.
I'd like to make a motion tonight to see if the Select Board will introduce each member of the Select Board at the start of each public Select Board meeting.
Second that.
We have a motion from John and a second
Yes.
by Mr. Senecal. Discussion? Linda?
Yeah, I know and I understand why the ZBA and the Planning Board introduces everybody, because they have alternates who haven't been elected. But everybody up here has been elected by you, and they know who we are. So I just wonder whether it's just something else that will add to the length of the meeting. That's just my comment.
And just for your benefit, John, in the rules of procedure, I believe we inserted a discussion topic to do that. But since you want to put the motion up now, we'll vote it. Anyone else? Mr. Senecal?
Yes.
Mr. Deshays?
No.
Ms. Murray?
No.
Mr. Thurston?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien, no. So the motion fails.
I'd like to make another motion.
Yes, sir?
I'd like to make a motion to see if the Select Board will vote to approve reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of each public Select Board meeting. I'm not forcing anyone to stand if they do not wish.
We have a motion for Pledge of Allegiance. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion? Again, we have this in the rules of procedures proposed, so if we vote on that, your motion tonight, we'll just pull it out. It'll now become part of the standard operating procedure. Roll call vote, John?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes?
Brian?
Yes.
Dave? And Paul says yes. And just so that everybody knows, we did a little research on that because there is this notion of compelling speech, and we're not here to compel speech. So when we do this, we will ask for anybody who wants to stand and pledge to do that, and there's no harm, no foul if you decide you don't want to do it. Okay? Anything else? I have a couple items of business as well.
Should we pledge allegiance tonight?
Do you want to do it?
I think so. We just
Yes.
voted that in.
So, Mr. Thurston, why don't you invite us to join in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Please stand. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. I have a couple of other items here. We were scheduling a Libby trustees meeting for this evening. We were going to get updates on two pieces of information. One had to do with a conversation with the charitable trust, and the other had to do with an update on the collection. Neither one of those are in shape for us to have a conversation, so I'll accept the motion to table the Libby trustees meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any conversation?
Are we waiting for further information?
Yeah, we're waiting for updated information on collection, and we're waiting for updated information on lawyer discussing things with CTU. That's kind of what we thought we were going to have that now, and we don't.
Okay.
Okay? Mr. Senecal. Vote.
Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
Brian?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Paul says yes. Okay, so we're tabling that to a date in the future. When we have updated information, we'll do that. What else did I have? I've read the statement, table the Libby, work plan. What am I missing?
I think let's get going.
It's been busy. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to consider minutes. We have a lot of minutes, so we're going to go through those one by one. March 6th, these are special meeting minutes. We have March 6th meetings. Are anyone has any questions about the March 6th minutes?
Paul?
Brian?
So underneath the 3 motions, my first name is spelled incorrectly. It's spelled B-R-I-E-N instead of A-N.
Yep.
Okay.
No biggie, but
I will make that change.
And mine too. Mine was, yeah, oh, it's
Yeah,
you.
okay, both of them, I got
I
both of
got
them.
it. All right, thank you. Anything else? Move to approve?
So moved.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Let's just do that by hands. All those in favor of approving the March 6 minutes, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? No. March 13 minutes, special meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Dave. Discussion? All those in favor of approving the March 13 minutes, raise aye.
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 No opposed? No abstentions. March 18th minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Brian, second by Dave. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the March 18 minutes by aye.
Aye.
Any abstains? Nope, we're good, unanimous. March 20 minutes. Come on, Brian, you're on a roll.
Move to approve.
There you go.
Second.
Second by Dave. Any discussion? All those in favor of the March 20 minutes, raise hand, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any abstained? Any objection? Okay, good. March 24th minutes, special meeting.
Move to approve.
Thanks, Brian, you're rolling here.
Second.
Second by Dave. Any discussion? Move to approve. Why?
Aye.
Aye.
We're all good, thank you. March 25 minutes.
Move to approve the March 25th minutes.
You're getting a little long in the tooth there, just move to approve. March 25th minutes, do I have a second?
Second.
Dave, seconds? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any abstain? Any objection? Nope. March 26 minutes, special meeting.
Move to approve the March 26th meeting minutes.
I have a second.
Second.
Dave, seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
John, you were absent for that one? Or you, okay, abstain. Mr. Thurston abstains. March 27 minutes. We have a motion?
The reason I'm not making the motion, I did them all, so I think it's probably better I
Why
don't
don't
make.
you make a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion to do the
Thanks.
March 27th.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain? Thank you, John. March 30th minutes. I have a motion.
Motion to accept.
Okay. A second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Abstain? March 31 minutes.
Move to approve the March 31 minutes.
Okay.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Abstain.
John abstains. April 2nd minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Second by Brian. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Abstain.
John abstains. April 1st.
I'll make a motion to table that one.
Yeah.
That did not make it in the packet.
Got it. We'll table it. Move to table.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, the next item on our agenda is public input, please. 3 minutes, please. We're going to start the timer. Please identify
Is this
yourself.
on?
Good
Okay,
evening.
it's on. Okay, Carol McMahon,
Hi, Carol.
and I would like to make a suggestion that after you make, like last week, that discussion on the the vote between the paving the road and the vote that the people took not to pave that road. And then you made a controversial decision to make a new committee to study that, but then you also made a decision to pave the road that the people voted not to pave. So before you take these controversial votes after the discussion, would it be possible to have a few minutes of public input? Because, I mean, I expressed my displeasure last week at the end, but it's very frustrating, and like, why bother coming if the only input we get is to express our displeasure on what you voted on. So, I mean, that was just a strange mess of a vote, and a lot of people were unhappy. And I just think when you're something that's that controversial, that after you've made your discussion, couldn't we have a few minutes of public input? Because we might have a suggestion that you guys didn't think of or something. So otherwise, it's kind of, after I left last time, I thought, you know, why bother to come? So I'm coming this time to make this point. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Suzanne Ryan, resident. I see you have the jet skis on your agenda this evening. I looked at the file folder for that, and I'm not sure that last year they had the insurance.
A little louder. Yeah, thanks.
I looked at the file folder for the jet ski for last year, and I'm not sure that the insurance was covered in the time frame it was supposed to be, or if it got renewed as it should have. But what I noticed on this year's is some comment about the company is insured, but are the 8 machines insured to therefore cover every incident with that machine against the town, protect the town? Secondly, you have, under your bulk vote, you have a couple of items. It would be helpful if you would explain what those bulk vote items are, rather than just a heading. There's a lot of money involved in going in and out, abatements and stuff, and I don't see a total number. I see individual. How much does that come to, and how does it affect the tax rate? Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Geez, don't run. I mean, don't.
I want to be out of
We'll
here.
start it at 3 minutes.
8:59.
There you go.
All right.
Troy Glidden, resident. First off, thank the 5 of you for all you do. I don't think you probably get paid enough to put up with the amount of crap that you put up with, so thank you. And thank you, Mr. Thurston. That's how it's supposed to work. A taxpayer asks you a question, you pull through, make it happen, so thank you all.
Give that guy another 2 minutes. Anybody else? Thank you, everyone. I don't see anyone else coming up. We're going to go to our next item on the agenda.
We got one more.
Sir?
I have a question regarding the motions this evening regarding Sergeant's Pond Road.
We'll be talking about Sergeant's Pond a little later on.
Okay, so would that be the time to comment?
Probably.
Okay.
All right, or we'll see. Okay, thank you. Okay, public hearing. We have a public hearing, and I'll read this into the record. It's the Town of Wolfeboro Select Board shall hold a public hearing on April 15th at their meeting that starts at 6:30 p.m. in the Great Hall of the Town Hall located at 84 South Main Street, Wolfeboro. Enter from the rear. To receive comments from the public about a proposed speed limit change. And the speed limit change proposal is to reduce the speed limit of 30 miles an hour on Keewaydon Road to 20 miles per hour from May 1, 2026 to August 31st, 2026. Is there somebody here who wants to speak to that?
Hi, my name is Jamie Bidham, and I currently live on Keewaydon Road.
My name is Jerry Davidson, and I also live on Keewaydon.
Good evening.
I don't know if any of you are familiar with Keewaydon Road, but it's 2 miles from town. It's about less than a half a mile long, and it has 17 residents on Keewaydon Road itself. 12 of which live there, 12 to 13 live there year-round. It's a 20-foot wide road. It has telephone poles that are 12 inches off the road. So if you see a car coming at you and you're walking or trying to pull out, there's nowhere to go. The speed limit, we currently have a 20-mile-an-hour cautionary sign, which nobody looks at because they all say it's a suggested speed limit. So even if the police department was to come up and monitor things, I'm not sure what the speed limit would be for their cutoff. In the summertime, there are 7 private roads off of Keewaydon Road. So we go from approximately 17 houses on Keewaydon Road to 95 when you count all of the private roads that are off of Keewaydon Road. So it's a problem year-round with snowplow trucks, garbage trucks, construction workers, or whatnot, cleaning people that go down there, but it increases exponentially in the summertime. It's a definite safety issue. It's been going on for years, only the road was paved. I'm not exactly sure when, but after the road, how was it? 3 years ago. And it's faster now. People just go faster. They're 40, 45 miles an hour down the road. And we're kind of sick of policing them. We'd like to walk our dogs on the road. We have kids on the road now. One of the families that has children felt the need to put a watch for children sign up with the speed limit sign, to which another neighbor put balloons on to just make it obvious. Maybe they still won't do a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit, I'm sure. Everybody goes a little bit over for the most part. But if you put a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign on that road, there's going to be a problem. And I hate to wait till there is a big problem for something to be done about it. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
So Keewaydon Road is like
Your
she
name,
said-
please?
I'm sorry, my name is Jerry Davidson.
Thanks. Good.
Keewaydon Road is approximately 20 feet wide. Some of our telephone poles are less than a foot off of the pavement. I drive a school bus. I know I'm a little wider than most vehicles. I don't bring my school bus home, several reasons. Most of the homes on the main part of Keewaydon Road are older homes. Both of our houses were built in the early 60s. Basically brought in truckloads of sand and dumped them into the middle of wetlands. Neither one of our houses can have a foot of porch built off of it because it's too close to the road, meaning that they're the town guidelines. If I step outside my house and my dog comes out behind me, I am absolutely petrified for his life. And he's a big dog, he's gonna dent something. I absolutely will not let my grandchildren play in the front yard of my house, even with me right there. We walk in the wintertime, we walk in the summertime.
A little louder.
We walk in the wintertime, we walk in the summertime. It's a great place to walk. There are tons of people that walk up and down that road. The people that travel on that road, that live on this road, generally are within the speed limit. We have a lot of people that don't live on this road. A lot of people that are in and out daily. And we need an enforceable speed limit that's safe for the families that live here. And I think asking for at the minimum, a seasonal 20-mile-an-hour speed limit is
That would be doable
That would
until
absolutely.
this legislation that I've heard about that's coming up in September will allow, I guess, the town to have more of a hand and an opinion on it without going through the state. It does need a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit sign year-round, but we're happy to start with a seasonal sign and then see where we can go from there. It's just not a wide enough road for 30 miles an hour, and it seems very strange to me that the standard is 30 miles an hour, because I know on a lot of roads in Wolfeboro that wouldn't be a reasonable speed, but definitely not on Keewaydin with the lake access and the increase of traffic, especially in the summertime.
So it's 25.
Thank you.
Anybody?
Anybody else want to comment?
There's a few other people
Yeah,
here.
come
I'm
on.
just making sure that they
It's a
don't
public hearing.
have anything
Come on
to
up.
say.
You're good?
Okay. So I guess,
They believe you touched all the points.
Yes.
So one of the reasons that I mentioned that I was a school bus driver is that I'm a very defensive driver. I know without a shadow of doubt that two cars traveling more than 20 miles an hour on that road cannot pass each other without clipping. You can't. We pull over to let whoever's coming down the road by, because it's unsafe to pass two cars going side by side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, can I give you this? One of the neighbors that sent the email.
I think we got it, but I'll take this and we'll add it to the, yeah, good, thank you. Okay. All right, anybody else? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing. Board members. Who's up? John, you want to go first?
So do we want to listen to the people that live on the road?
We just did.
I know, I'm just saying. Should we listen to them?
Oh, okay. You have a proposal?
I would make a proposal that we, well, I'm not going to, I want to listen to the rest of the board before I make
That
any.
sounds like a good idea. Okay. Anything else, though, you want to?
I'd support the reducing of the speed limit to 20 miles an hour.
All right. Anyone else?
So I'm wondering if the chief could come up for a minute. I'd like to ask the chief a couple of questions. Is that possible?
The interrogation of the chief. Chief, come on up here. Oh, wait. I didn't know this was coming, Chief.
What questions can I answer for you?
Well, a couple. One, do we have any other residential neighborhoods that are patrolled by the police department where the speed limit is currently 20 miles an hour?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Do we have any that are 25?
There are several.
There are several that are 25. Okay. I looked at the House Bill 1550, and I'm trying to find, I know there's got to be a bill out there, but that one is about justice of the peace, marital masters, arbitrators, and mediators. So I haven't been able to find one that's in session right now for speed limits. And the only other thing is, based on all the RSAs, and Chief, correct me if I'm wrong, we have to have a traffic study done by the state in order to have this happen?
That's my understanding. Traffic and engineering study.
So we need a traffic and engineering study.
Does it, I don't see anything in the RSA that says it has to be done by the state. In fact, it's
done by the town.
Okay, thank you.
I can give you some example of a prior jurisdiction that I was chief in. There was an accumulation of data that the department had that would indicate number of motor vehicle collisions, speeding complaints, pedestrian complaints of almost getting hit or actually being struck by vehicles that helped become the traffic study, and that was acceptable by the state.
All right. So that's what I have, board. We would have to do a traffic study because that's what state RSA says. That's what we have to do. And that's okay, if that's the way we want to go. We can't go to 20, the state doesn't even allow it yet. So we could go to 25, but again, we would need a traffic study. Don't know what the cost of the traffic study is. And I don't know if that cost is a burden for all the taxpayers in town, or is it a payment that is a betterment fee for just the residents on Keewaydin? There's just some questions, and some questions that we might have to ask legal about the best way to do this.
Just a point of order. Thank you for coming up, Chief. We're all set with the Chief?
Yep.
No.
Oh, you're not? Dave wants to get at you.
Yes, sir.
In some of the backup information we have, you wrote on March 4th that you'd run into this in the past, and the limit cannot go below 25. You also said, I believe it can only go to 20 if it is for up to 4 months and is a seasonal speed limit.
It was
And
recent legislation.
They brought up a seasonal speed limit when they came to the microphone. So
My understanding, and there was recent legislation that was passed in 2024, I believe it was in July, that allows for a seasonal speed limit drop up to 20 miles an hour. That is for 4 months. You can only do it for 4 months in a 12-month period. And that is also based on a study with regard to pedestrians and bicycle traffic. So if there can be seen that there's folks walking or bicycles in the area, and that the residents or interested folks are concerned about that, they have to put that in their petition for your public meeting.
Keep going, Chief.
So when I was told about this public meeting, I did my own little review of the area. And if I could say or speak freely about this, 25 is fast on that road. It's a small road. There isn't a lot of folks that live on the road that I could see, although it's April. I can understand how it increases in the summer months. I think a 4-month 20-mile-an-hour zone is appropriate, at least to start, until whatever the House bill is that you're looking for is discovered and is passed by the House and Senate. I brought the speed of the cruiser up to 22, and that's about as fast as I felt safe driving on that road. I did meet another vehicle on the road, and we passed each other without concern. We were both doing around 15 when we did it. But I would recommend to the board that 20 mile an hour 4-month period is probably a good idea, at least to get into the traffic study piece of it, to come back to you to report on that.
You have one?
Yeah. This is under RSA 265:63, and then there's underneath that 2A, it says local authorities shall not be required to hire outside consultants to determine the proper prima facie speed limit as provided in paragraph 1 and 2 above, if the local community has sufficient staff to conduct the required engineering or traffic investigation. So would you think that the police department can do the traffic investigation?
We can certainly give you some statistics and some information that we have. That would be up to the board as to whether or not you would accept that as such.
So it looks like we do have another way to get it. And was that, I didn't remember, do we need to have that traffic study for the 4 months, or can?
Yes.
Okay. So to me, that would be the way to go, then we have to wait for a traffic study to see if we can get some kind of, you drove it.
I can give you historical data.
Yeah, I think that's what we need.
I think the other day I asked how many citations have you issued on that road?
I don't have any information on board that we've looked at that show us that we've done any activity on that road since 2011, I believe it was.
All right, John's up.
So Keewaydin Road is a public road, it's not a state road?
To a certain point, it is a municipal road, town road.
Town road.
Yeah.
And then it goes to a private section.
Okay,
So
anybody else?
the only thing that I would still like is to ask town attorney what kind of traffic study that we would do in-house that would cover the state RSA that says that we have to have some kind of traffic study on a road in order to lower the speed limit. That, to me, that makes sense. Either that or we're kind of just guessing on how are we going to make the speed limit lower? Are we doing the proper thing based on state RSA?
And this other reference to legislation, there was something by council that said that something did get set in the Senate, but it's not gone to the House.
I think it was the opposite House, but it's going to the Senate.
Okay, I'm flipping it over. The House did something, the Senate hasn't done anything. So that piece of legislation is pending. So board, what do you want to do here? Brian's making a bid that says, ask Nathan to get some specific details of what needs to be done, a traffic study. How would that be done within the town? Is that kind of your ask?
Correct.
Okay. Anybody else?
Can I
John? Barry?
Chief, does your mile per hour radar sign you use, does that collect historical data?
It does.
Does that constitute what you would think would be a study?
It could be.
The radar sign will count cars and it will indicate speeds of the cars.
Okay.
So,
We would obviously use that in the study if we were to do one going forward. That would be certainly great data to have.
Linda?
yeah, I guess I was saying if you could put it up now and we would get some kind of account. I guess the question is, it seems like we should get this up for this summer. And how is the way? Do we have enough time? And I have no problem him talking to town attorney to figure out what a traffic investigation is locally, because that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Brian? And then
Yeah,
John?
under the same RSA that Linda was quoting, it says, notwithstanding the provisions of paragraph 1, RSA 265-60, or any other law contrary, the governing body of a municipality or its designee, upon the basis of an engineering and traffic investigation, may act on its own, or in response to a petition of at least 10 residents or municipality to reduce any prima facie speed limit to provide reasonable and safe conditions. So I'm not sure exactly what kind of study we do.
Well, so the applicant has appropriately given us more than 10 signatures, so they obviously have been reading the document, and they filled in the blanks. Just my read on the ordinance or the statute. No disrespect to those people who write those things, but it was a sandwich that you could interpret it a lot of different ways. Council interpreted it as you need to get a traffic study. Now we're saying to council, and which I think is a fair ask, what constitutes a study? Could we do it? What kind of data could we collect? We can put that together. Then the question we'll have to answer is, cost, who bears cost, all that stuff. John, you had one more thought?
So I'm asking you, Paul, is that a motion?
No? You want to make one?
I'd make a motion that we seek Nathan's advice on the qualifications for a traffic study, and if the traffic sign that the local police department puts up would qualify for a traffic study analysis, and we go from there.
And we probably, the public hearing is closed, and we probably want that clear sooner rather than later.
Agreed.
Okay. I don't know what the date certain is, Linda. That's a motion, is
Yeah, I know. I'm just going to ask, are you talking about that being a local traffic study investigation opposed to going out and hiring, which will take a longer period of time?
So the motion was to ask council if the traffic speed sign would work for a traffic study.
Would that work for a traffic study? Okay.
I have a motion. I don't have a second yet.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Senecal. One more conversation, Brian.
The only other piece is, with temporary signage, we're going to have to be putting up signs and taking down
We do that
signs,
downtown.
which we do, but there is a cost associated with it also.
And they're taxpayers, too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
minor, you know, to me.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other conversation? Roll call this one. All those who want to say aye, Mr. Senecal,
Yes.
Mr. Deshays.
Yes.
Ms. Murray.
Yes,
Mr. Thurston.
Yes.
I say yes as well. It's unanimous. We got to go do some homework. We'll try to get some effort underneath that, okay? Thank you for bringing it up. We appreciate it. And thank you, Chief, for coming on up. Okay, we have another temporary event permit. The Wolfeboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. to consider a temporary event permit for the Manchester Bass Club to host a fishing club tournament in Back Bay using the Back Bay boat ramp on April 25th, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Permit number 2026-41. Anybody here speak to that? Okay. Now, I have a note here that they don't have nonprofit insurance, but they have all the insurance. They'll have their insurance in April, and there's no parking issues associated with that. We okay with this? Any motion? Brian?
this is a public hearing. Did you open the
Oh, I'm
public?
sorry. Why
public
did I
hearing?
do that? It was a public hearing. My bad. I'll open the public hearing. No one is speaking to it. I'll close the public hearing. I have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion to issue a temporary event permit for the Manchester Bass Club to host a fishing club tournament in Back Bay using the Back Bay ramp on April 25th, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Permit number 2026-41.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll do this by raising hand. All those in favor of the motion, signal aye.
Aye.
Looks like it's unanimous. The motion passes. Next public hearing, temporary event permit is for the Wolfeboro Select Board. We'll hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 to consider a temporary event permit of the New Hampshire Junior Bassmasters to host a fishing tournament on July 11th, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Back Bay, permit 2026-36. Just a reminder, this one was tabled due to the date. Amy said that she reached out to John Foster, established a parking plan because I think there was a conflict with other activities that were going on. So he's aware they fish in Winnie. I'll open the public hearing. Anybody here to speak to this?
Isn't that the same time as the ski tournament?
It is, but Amy worked a situation with, and this was brought up last time. I think you brought it
Yeah,
up last time.
because they can't be fishing
They're
while
going to
the
fish in
tournament's
Winnie.
going.
They're going to be fishing out on Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh, that's, yeah.
And they're putting it at 7 a.m.
And they're putting in at 7 a.m. They're going out to the big lake. I heard the fishing's better out there. All right. Anybody else? With that, I'll close the public hearing. Board members? Anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to issue a temporary event permit for the New Hampshire Junior Bassmaster to host a fishing tournament on July 11th, 2026 from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. in Back Bay, permit number 2026-36.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a second by Mr. Senecal. Raising hand. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is unanticipated funds. The Wolfeboro Select Board will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, April 15th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. at the Great Hall, 84 South Main Street, Wolfeboro, New Hampshire, for the acceptance of unanticipated funds for an amount donated that is under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95B3 bracket A, relative to a donation received by the Wolfeboro Historical Society valued at $8,870 for additional scope of work towards the Pleasant Valley Schoolhouse repairs. Want to open up the public hearing? Sir, good evening.
Good evening. As you know, I'm Gene Deneau, representing the Historical Society. Let me give you a little background that some of you may not know about the Pleasant Valley Schoolhouse. It was one of the early one-room schoolhouses built in 1805 up in the area where the Point Breeze Resort is. It was in use until about 1905 as a schoolhouse. At that time, the students were consolidated and went to the South Wolfeboro Schoolhouse. The building was still used sometimes as a church, sometimes as a community center into the 1940s. Then, sitting idle for almost 20 years, the town, it was donated by the Stevens family that ran Point Breeze to the town. The town bought it for $1. The Historical Society paid for it to be moved to the Clark Complex site, where it became the second building of what is now our four-building museum. The Historic Society paid for the building to be repaired. At that time, and I wasn't around here, so I don't know why it happened, but it had a very inadequate foundation. Not a cement foundation, not even a decent stone foundation. It was put on granite blocks. There was no crawl space underneath it. The maintenance for the next 60 years or so was pretty minimal. In recent times, problems have started developing starting around the 2015-2016 time frame. The granite blocks had been shifting due to frost. The sill plates had been rotting. The building had a lot of moisture in it because the ground was only about 18 inches below the single floor we have. And we noticed damage to the front wall caused by water running down the flagpole, which at the time was mounted to the front of the building. There was some corrective action taken in 2017 when the flagpole was taken down. Around that time, the mount was taken down. We expected it to be very difficult because there were rusted bolts holding it, and it turned out when the carpenter came to take it down, it almost hit him on the head. There was no wood behind the bolts. That's not visible because it's been covered over by the outside siding. A company called Quantum Construction, which does engineering studies, was contacted in 2017. They gave the town, Parks and Rec Department, an estimate to review the foundations of the Clark House and the schoolhouse. They gave a cost. There were no funds to do anything with that, and the cost to do the assessment was never provided until 2025. At that time, the company had changed names. What is it now? Turner Group. Same people involved, but it's a different company. Their proposal came in during the summer. There was no time for a complete review. As a result, we did not get the entire proposal on the 2026 warrant articles. We, the Historical Society, determined that the proposal for the Clark House repairs was adequate from an engineering standpoint, That became Article 12 and was passed this year. We expect that work to be done this summer, and there are no problems there. There were problems with the proposal for the schoolhouse. Basically, there were 3 areas that were omitted. The need for a bulk house to access a crawl space was not included. We're going to put a bulk house door in there, although the contractor did indicate in a meeting we had organized by Parks and Rec that he did plan a crawl space. At the time, they were not able to complete the assessment of the floor condition because it was not possible for a man to get under there. Also, because of contract deficiencies, they did not review the front wall. At this point, we have gotten an estimate for $8,870 from the contractor. The Wolfeboro Historical Society, with considerable help from Linda Murray, has obtained grants to provide this $8,870 to the town. We've added some of our own money as well, and we are here to indicate that we are donating. As soon as you accept it, tell me who to make out the check to, and I will provide a check tomorrow, providing you agree to accept the money. So here we are, no cost to the taxpayers. We'll get the study done in time to do fundraising and plan for a 2027 warrant article.
Okay.
Any questions?
Any questions?
I have one.
Yeah, John.
So how much are you proposing to have the warrant article for?
I won't know that until I get the estimate from the engineering study group. It will be at least $150,000 because the quote that they gave us for the schoolhouse, which is incomplete, was for $150,000. I expect the total to go up from that, roughly $20,000 to $25,000. However, we are going to start a fundraising campaign and plan to offset that cost somewhat and make it more acceptable to the taxpayers. I can't give you any figures for the amount because we're just not at that point yet.
Okay.
So the reason that I was asking that question is because I do see this quote right here for $150,000. So I was just trying to reaffirm that cost.
Yep.
That cost will be adjusted once they take a good look at the floor and take down some siding and perhaps inside plaster work to actually see what's needed in the front wall. They're also going to lift up some floorboards to see what the condition of the floor joists are. They've planned for a carpenter to lift the boards and replace them so that we will be open as planned this summer.
So do you
some excavation work to do.
So do you propose that this money that you're donating be used to pay for those repairs and that discovery?
The money we're preparing to give you today or tomorrow is for $8,870, which pays the contractor, the engineering contractor, in full for his work in developing the final estimate.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to, if you're done, I'm going to open a public hearing so that people can make comments if they like.
Libby Shannon here is our president. Would you like to say a few words? If you don't have to.
It's all yours.
Hi, thanks for having us tonight, and we appreciate your support. And we just would like to keep the schoolhouse open because it is part of Wolfeboro's history. So several of you have probably have relatives that went there to that school. I know Jim does. So, but we thank you for your support and for this consideration.
Thanks, Libby. Okay, I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody want to comment? Come up to the microphone. Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public hearing. Board members.
Well, if you want, I'll make a motion to accept unanticipated funds for the amount donated under $10,000 in accordance with RSA 31:95B3A relative to a donation received by the Wolfeboro Historical Society valued at $8,870 for engineering an additional scope of work towards the Pleasant Valley Schoolhouse repairs.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second by Mr. Senecal. Any discussion? John, anybody? Nope. Call the question. All those in favor will do a show of hands. Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. No opposed, no abstain. Thank you. Unanimous.
Thank you. Who should I make the check out to?
Amy. We'll have. Don't make it out to Amy, but we'll get Amy to get to you. How's that? Is that okay, Barry?
Yeah, that's fine. I think we're co-named on that checking account, so it won't matter.
We'll get to you.
I'll see Amy tomorrow.
Amy. Amy's the boss. Okay, folks, I'm going to read the bulk vote abatements and property tax exemptions. But before I do that, we had a 24 megabyte file, and Linda thankfully went through with Amy and did some clearing of things up. You want to?
Yeah, under D, we need to add 3 of them. One is 5 Laurel Circle, tax map 201, lot 13. The next one is...
Hang on, 201, lot 13?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
The next one is 93 Spruce Road,
Yeah.
map 227, lot 14.
22714?
Yep.
Yeah, what else?
And the last one is 18 Old Lakeview Terrace, map 202, lot 49.
Lakeview Terrace. I didn't get the lot in the
49.
49 is the lot.
lot 49?
Yep.
And what's the tax map?
202.
202. Okay, folks, buckle up. I have a lot of reading to do here. I'll try to not put you mostly all to sleep. Item A, the weekly manifest for April 3rd of 2026, $355,000 and $355,029.16. Weekly manifest of April 10th, 2026, $198,688.39. That's paying the bills. That's paying the bills and salaries and compensation. Item B, yield tax levy, Trask Mountain Road, tax map 25, lot 2, $2,562.54. Item C, abatements. 526 North Main Street, 2025, number 15, tax map 172, lot 41, for $308.81. 35 Inner Lakes Way, 2025, number 32, tax map 205, lot 57, $266.72, $266.72. 67 Port Wedland Road, 2025, number 42, tax map 200, lot 13, $476.86. 115 Spruce Road, 2025, number 44, tax map 227, lot 45, $411.16. 32 Inner Lakes Way, 2025, number 43, tax map 2025, lot 55, $0. 61 Laner Street, 2025, number 56, tax map 218, lot 134, $1,263.86. Leonard Street, 2025, number 56, Laner Street, continued, tax map 218, lot 135, for $59.75. There's a typo, Laner. 55 Pleasant Valley Road, 2025, number 60, tax map 245, lot 34, $106.33. Heron Hollow, number 2025, number 65, tax map 218, Lot 37, for $931.80. Going to break out the Coca-Cola here. 2 Chapel Lane, 2025, number 67, tax map 214, lot 17, for $785.94. 4 Chapel Lane, 2025, number 67, tax map 214, lot 18, for $1,441.40. 69 Camp School Road, 2025, number 70, tax map 253, lot 2, $420.88. 16 Frank Goodwin Road, 2025, number 76, tax map 216, lot 13, to $625.85. 73 South Main Street, 2025, number 85, tax map 218, lot 146, $351.14. Those are tax abatements. Property tax exemptions and credits.
So there was a question earlier. That's $7,450 in total abatements on a tax roll that we have of, what's our tax roll? 4.9 billion?
I mean, our assessed value?
Yeah, our assessed value?
Yeah, it's about
4.9 billion.
It's a touch under 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, just under.
Yeah, so it's $7,448 on that total amount.
Thank you for that, Brian. Appreciate that. That's good clarity. That's good. Item D, property tax exemptions and credits. 93 Spruce Road, tax map 227, lot 44. 20 East Clark Road, tax map 231, lot 51. 19 Lake Street, tax map 217, 107. 180 Ambrose Way, tax map 188, lots 1 through 9. 68 Hersey Point, tax map 164, lot 24. 8, I think that's Partridge, 8 Partridge Drive, that would be tax map 215, lot 16. 29 Heath Trail, tax map 220, lot 17. 32 Bryant Road, tax map 167, lot 16. 18 Old Lakeview Terrace, tax map 202, lot 46. 5 North Kenny Shore, tax map 148, lot 19. 4 Birch Hill Estates Road, tax map 177, lot 11-10. 98 Witten Neck Road, tax map 191, lot 31. 9 Hemlock Drive, tax map 187, lot 1. 12 Jiminy Drive, tax map 215, lot 23. 5 Bassett Drive, tax map 202, lot 77. 49 Winnipesaukee Drive, tax map 272, lot 4. 316 Center Street, tax map 177, lot 6. 23 Pine Street, tax map 218, lot 93. 3 Wolfeboro Common, tax map 187, lot 3-20. 5 Laurel Drive, and this is tax map 202, lot 13, not 34, Linda?
What I got for it when I went out is 201, lot 13. So I think it's just that is what is wrong. I went down the columns of seeing if the map and the lots were there.
Okay.
So that I think is...
I'm going to read both of them in.
Yeah, I would, because
it's a
yeah,
boo-boo. All right,
okay.
So I'm going to say 5 Laurel Drive, tax map 202, lot 13 to 34. 25 Brewster Heights, tax map 245, lot 3. 4 Bassett Road, tax map 202, lot 68. 4 Bassett Road, X2, tax map 202, lot 68. 126 Spruce Road, tax map 227, lot 32. 5 Laurel Circle, 201, tax map 201, lot 13. 93 Spruce Road, tax map 227, lot 14. 18 Old Lakeview Terrace, tax map 202, number 49. With that, I'm going to take a little swig of my soda pop. That constituted a 24 megabyte file that blew up Amy's computer. Board members, that is what we have to sign. We'll try to sign some of those tonight, but please, if you don't sign them tonight, let's get those signed tomorrow, or Brenda and Linda Ridings will be tracking you down.
And those are time sensitive, so we...
They are. By the way, those numbers that we just gave to you are timed to the date, to the day. And so, moving those things around, delaying, not signing those things would cause our team downstairs to pull their hair out, which we don't want. May I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to accept the bulk vote as amended.
Second.
Items A through D.
Yes, A through D.
A through D?
Yep.
That's a second, Brian. You okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, just get a show of hands or a conversation. Anybody want to talk about it?
So I'd like to talk about it. So over the years, being in town, everybody usually pays the bill. We go, we vote, we buy stuff, we pay our bills. And since I've been here on the board, our abatements package has been about this thick. Last week, it was about an inch thick. And this week, it's that thick. I'm just wondering if, our people out there are getting older, they want to vote for certain things because they want stuff, and they think that somebody can pay for it. I'm saying I'm going to have to pick up the slack for those people that aren't paying that are getting that thing, just like this person, this person, this person, the other person. They have that right to do that. But the public needs to know that the bills still have to get paid out there. And when those people get the right to file for those abatements and all that other stuff, we all end up paying the price. So I'm just trying to relay that message to everybody that says, if you can help your neighbor out in some way, do it, but we still need our neighbors to be able to pay the bills so we can all enjoy everything equally.
Okay, good input. Okay. So I have a motion and a second for bulk vote A through D, including amended. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dave, you okay?
Yes.
Good. All right, unanimous. Thank you. The next is appointments.
Oh, just one thing.
Yes, Brad.
In that big package, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 abatements.
Right.
And those are when people look at the property that they own and say, my neighbors are assessed for houses that are the same, a little bit less, mine should be in line with those, and that's fair. We have more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 28 that are tax exemptions. And the tax exemptions are different than the abatements. Those are for disabled veterans. Those are for the elderly. Those are for people with disabilities, the blind and whatnot. So that's what those exemptions and credits are for.
And the voters voted them in.
And the voters voted them in at the last, thank you for helping. They voted in at our last election to help our seniors and our completely disabled vets. None of them get free taxes. They get a small break off their tax bill so that, if you're 95 years old and you're a disabled veteran, I think you should be in, you've provided for the community for your life, and we should give back.
I think this is good commentary. Not trying to be, false about it. I mean, people, they see these numbers, and they want to know. I think that's good. I'll tell you one thing to pay attention to is as you look at our bulk vote and you look at the amount of money that comes in and goes around the town, this is, the corporate person, me, the burn rate here in terms of how much money is going in and out and the accuracy under which we pay those bills. I think I've said it before. We all get to look at those things. We get to look at every line item of every bloody bill that gets paid. We get to see everything. And that comes to us as a recommendation from the town manager. Before the town manager gets it, it comes as a recommendation from the finance people. So there's a lot of eyes looking at this. And I know all of you have done this. Occasionally we'll look at something and kind of go, that doesn't make sense. Whammo, we get an answer, and then we auto-approve it. So anyways, thank you for that. The motion carried. All right, the next we have a visit from the chamber. Uh-oh. We got 3 people from the chamber.
Hi.
Hi, Mary.
Mary DeVries, Wolfeboro Area Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for this appointment with you today.
Thanks.
You know, just one of the comments I heard just today from a member of the community was, in part, countless hours have been spent over the years in committees and working with the select board on trying to solve parking issues in town. This issue is probably one of the most important matters for the town overall.
Good evening. Lynn Palmer, resident, but tonight I am representing the Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to share a position statement that the Chamber submitted to our Select Board members for the consideration of Articles 22 and 26 regarding downtown area crosswalks and parking spaces. So bear with me while I read it. To Select Board members, in relation to your review and consideration of the petition articles noted above, the Board of Directors of the Wolfeboro Area Chamber of Commerce share the following views and positions that we kindly request you consider in your decision-making process. Respectfully, we ask that you please consider the lack of procedure and examination that was not utilized in the original decision process that has created a potentially litigiously motivated response. The overwhelming voice of the people was not considered and created the situation the town is currently in. Regarding the reasonable position of safety as applied to crosswalks, there are many examples of towns within New Hampshire and other states that have considered and reviewed factors and effects with various results. The following practices and approaches should be considered. Industry best practice. Organizations like the National Association of City Transportation Officials, NACTO, and state laws like California's AB 413 specifically target the approach side. They do not require the exit side to be clear because it doesn't solve the blind spot problem. A data-driven compromise. Moving to a one-space open model shows the town as being surgical and data-driven, prioritizing life-saving visibility while remaining fiercely protective of the local business economy. A multi-step approach is overwhelmingly supported by New Hampshire DOT and includes actions of discernible painting that is applied multiple times for observable impact, colors probably beyond white, appropriate signage, and approximate 20 feet visibility prior to and including crosswalk space. Managing summer surge, efficiency over exclusion. With the large increase of summer visitors in town, we need the street to work harder. A one-side-only policy is the most efficient use of our limited curb space. It keeps pedestrians visible and keeps the open for business sign literally accessible to drivers. Ultimately, the opportunity for the voice of the people to be considered was afforded through the above referenced petition articles on the March 2026 town vote. The people did affirm their desire to support Article 26, with 1,520 voting in favor of restoring parking spaces in the direction of travel. Article 2 had 1,271 yes votes, and of the 2 articles, it also had the greatest number of people voting against it. This is your opportunity to be accountable to a more process-oriented and open forum of consideration, and we thank you for that judicious consideration. We very much appreciate the opportunity to represent the overwhelming position of not only businesses and organizations, but what is in the best interest of all. We have reached out to business owners who have shared unique distress due to the removal of 16 overall parking spaces, and all of them care about the safety of their customers. We, and the majority of people, believe that Article 26, along with some possible enhancements, would result in a reasonable, responsible, and safe determination. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay. Questions? Any questions, folks?
I'm assuming we will take this up at some kind of board meeting with a discussion item and action? So this is just to listen to their input.
So I have a question.
John?
So what are the 16 spots?
There are the 16 spots.
Yes.
They're all throughout town, on either side of the crosswalks, most of them.
Yeah, could you? And just tell us.
On either side of the crosswalks, most of them, throughout the town. There's actually 17, but one is for the police department that was taken. But there were overall 17 parking spaces taken to accommodate both sides of the crosswalks. 17 overall, including the police cruiser spot.
Okay, I'd like to ask a question. I like the industry best practice commentary up front. It's, we do it right? Be best. And I think in our, I'm now selling our work plan for the board. I think we need to be best at whatever we do. And so, do you think it's best practice, I'm not trying to lead the witness here, to just do, do what you're recommending, which is, return some of those spaces? Or is there some other model that the community should be looking at? Let me tell you why I asked the question. Because we're gonna noodle this. We have to noodle this together. We get advice. We're getting a whole bunch of different advice on this thing. And in my personal opinion is I think we want to do it correctly. Because we always seem to have enough money to do it right the second time, right? We want to do it correctly. And what's in my mind, as I hear you and hear other inputs I've gotten, is it's not clear to me that this is a correctly answer. Maybe a temporary, but to me it just doesn't feel correctly. And I don't want to get into a debate with you. But
I think because the original decision was made to take the spaces.
Yeah, you think it was
without
precipitous.
really a lot of input from the businesses that were really affected by it. We have limited parking downtown as it is.
Yeah.
So to take the 16 spaces and then have to kind of walk back that decision was impulsive in our opinion.
You think it was impulsive?
Yes. And so
You think the community didn't get a hand in this thing?
I don't. The businesses certainly didn't.
Okay, I'm just.
So I mean, from our
checking the box.
conversations with the business downtown, yes, they were angry about it. So we're trying to solve these parking issues, but this is, in our opinion, it's not necessary to take both sides of the crosswalk.
And I think the ask here is we got to get you clarity sooner rather than later. Right?
Yeah, I
Clarity.
mean, we all want the downtown to look appropriate. Right now, it's kind of hodgepodge with signs and
Got it.
crosswalks, painted, unpainted.
Yeah.
Right. So it would be nice to have it done
You want clarity.
the right way. Just have clarity.
Linda?
Yeah, I also want to point out, this was not an agenda item.
Right.
It wasn't something that somebody could look at the agenda and say, they're going to deal with this. It was something that was brought up. And I think that goes to nobody knowing, nobody having a say before it happened.
Right.
And I think that's a very legitimate comment to us. And also the fact that there were 2 warrant articles. So the voters did vote in a larger number on the one. So we need to take that into consideration as we take other things.
I agree. Anybody? John?
So we heard from the people out there that said we need an engineer. We went out and we sought Stantec, which is our engineer, represents the DOT. They gave us their appraisal. We went out to legal counsel. They gave us their appraisal. About a few weeks ago, we had 2 pedestrians hit. Now I'm just going to talk about the one. If you saw the camera from the real estate office pointing down the hill, The lady was out in the middle of the road. The driver didn't even see her and hit her when she was out in the middle of the road. If you can't see that person out in the middle of the road, how can you see that person partially behind a vehicle that's on the other side of the road already?
So we're gonna take that as a rhetorical question. We're not gonna do a debate. That's a rhetorical question that a colleague is asking. He's asking it, saying, I have a rhetorical issue here.
And I appreciate you coming and having the information. I know when you stood up at the deliberative session, you say, well, John Thurston has all this stuff and he named all this stuff off, but I don't have all that stuff. That might have been the opportunity for you to say that to the people so everybody else could have heard that, but I do appreciate your statistical information for us at this point. Appreciate that.
At the risk of, go ahead, I'm sorry, Lynn.
I just want to also respond to your question, Paul. I think you're right. I think that there should be a study. The point of the mileage change on Keewaydon Road prompted you all to talk about doing something with information, with data, with research, with best practice, things like that. So I think we're totally in favor of taking that step and doing it right, and wanting to make sure that decisions are inclusive, that they are representative of the economic picture of this town, which it's important to businesses, but it's important to this town to have thriving businesses. We really depend on it, particularly in the summer months. Most of our small businesses are just trying to make enough to get past using the summer income. So,
Mr. Duché?
So the only, not problem, but the only issue I have with the way that we removed the spots is that our process was poor. We listened to an input from a very lovely woman who is a disabled veteran and has concerns, and I thought that was great. And we should have listened, we should have gone back, we should have done our due diligence and done some work studying the situation before we made a quick reaction. Since then, I've talked to the DOT traffic department in the state of New Hampshire, and I've talked specifically to Lee Baronis, PE, who's an administrator for the traffic engineering division. And I've talked to Stantec, two of our engineers at Stantec. And I've talked to citizens in town. And I've seen 2 petition warrant articles come forward. And we've seen 2 incidents that happened in town, and I'm still praying for both of those individuals, but neither of them were in a crosswalk. And it was brought up that 55 years ago there was someone who was killed in a crosswalk. The police department has said that we don't have a systemic issue with people getting hit in crosswalks in the town. And that's when we had no clear on both sides. Is clear before a great idea? Absolutely. Clear behind? We should have done more research before we did a knee-jerk reaction. That's my opinion.
So, Mary, what you got?
Just a couple more comments. When you think about the business community's voice on this subject, we're not only talking about businesses that are in this immediate area, and an example of that is if you look at the business people represented on that letterhead where we submitted the letter. I think all but one maybe 2 is outside of this area, and they're still saying it's for the best, in the best interest of the community. And then while we included the parking space designated for law enforcement, just to show, present the total number that have been removed, we in no way want to have that parking space put back. We're in full support of that being designated for law enforcement. And also, I heard earlier in the meeting, Mr. Thurston say that we should listen to the people, and we certainly hope that and ask you to listen to the voters on this subject. And thank you.
Mary, thank you. We owe you clarity. More on this one soon. Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda, new business. We have a discussion here with our dear friend Lenore, Conservation Commission, Sergeant's Pond property. And I don't know if you were here, but a gentleman wanted to be heard. And did you just say nah? Anyways, Lenore, tell us what's going on.
Hi, good evening. Lenore Clark, Conservation Commission, and forgive me if I babble a little bit. I had to move my son home from college in Boston today, so I'm a little, Boston road weary. I prepared a memo for you folks that I hoped it kind of explained comprehensively what we were looking to do. You just spoke about best practices previously. This is a best practices situation that we are trying to correct. And for the benefit of the public who hasn't been able to see the memo, this is in reference to one of the 4 parcels that make up the Bill Ray Conservation Area. Similar to Sewell Woods, there's 4 different tax parcels. One of those parcels, which is owned by the town of Wolfeboro, also has a conservation easement deed placed on it that is held by the town of Wolfeboro, acting through us, the Conservation Commission. Best practices state that a separate entity other than the owner should be the holder of the easement, because the holder is is there to enforce whatever restrictions are placed on the conservation easement. So you shouldn't be in a self-policing situation, and that's where you are right now. So we are trying to help you out by requesting that the conservation easement be assigned to the Wentworth Watershed Association, who also has property holdings in the area. This particular property sits within the watershed that their whole mission is to protect. So we think it's a win-win scenario. I don't know, I haven't spoken directly with Attorney Fennessy about this other than to get him and the Conservation Commission attorney talking to each other. But since then, I haven't heard from Attorney Fennessy. So I didn't quite know if this was ready for prime time yet. I am here at your invitation.
Thank you. Questions?
Yeah, I think the reason we wanted you here to get a better understanding. I think we as a board kind of struggled with what was going on here and why. And this paper that you presented to us, understanding that we hold the easement and we cannot police ourselves. I think that is what we were missing before, in my mind. So thank you for that.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome. And it's helpful for me to put something like that together too. Sometimes you need to go through the history a little bit to really, and dig your teeth into it to understand it better. So this helps me too.
John?
So one night we had a meeting and we were talking about this area, and after the meeting I got a message from a gentleman who lived on Sergeant's Pond Road, and he said, well, geez, we get a lot of traffic come down our road, but you got this conservation area right next to the beach area where everybody's trying to get to, and used to be accessible through the North Line Road area. And I used to go through there with my car when I was 18, so I knew the area pretty well. And then I saw Jim. I says, well, Jim, he says, well, let me give you the paperwork and let me give you the information. So I took all the information and the paperwork. He says, well, I don't know why the Conservation Commission doesn't actually put in a road in there and reopen the road back up and have this a conservation area that benefits the public and the people, so that the conservation area can close off the area that goes to Sergeant's Pond Road, and the Sergeant's Pond Road people can have their own road and maintain their own road, and then they don't have all the public coming down using their road and destroying the road. Because actually I said, so what do you think about that, Jim? He says, well, he says, we actually own lots there. We own more, but we merged them together, and we don't pay Sergeant's Pond Road anything for the maintenance of their road. And I says, well, why don't you do that? He says, well, because they don't, we just don't do it. So he says, well, what I would recommend is the Conservation Commission actually use their money. I said, so where do they get their money? He says, well, they get their money from properties that are in current use, and then when those properties come out of current use, that money goes to the Conservation Commission. And at this time, I reached out to Scott Smith, and he said there was over $300,000 sitting in the Conservation Commission account. So I was saying, well, maybe what we ought to do is we ought to use some of that money from the Conservation Commission and use that money to upgrade that area, because I think what we found last week, or the last meeting, was if we give this to the Wentworth watershed, us as taxpayers are going to end up giving the watershed, Wentworth watershed money, and then so we're actually going to be paying them to do something on this area potentially, when really we've already paid that money through taxes, because we had to pick up the taxes to pay for all the bills when those properties were in current use. So basically, that money is really all of our money that should be used so public access can be got to Sergeant's Pond and to the beach, and so sportsmen and other people can get to that area.
So the question is what, John?
The question is, why are we giving it to the Watershed Association and not taking care of it ourselves and using the money out of the Conservation Fund?
And Lenore, do you believe you answered that question in the memo?
Well, the question is being asked. I thought the memo was clear. Just so you know, we're looking to transfer a conservation easement which has nothing to do with the road. It's similar to restrictive covenants in a homeowners association, but for land, not for people's neighborhoods. Okay. So I'm certainly well aware of the issue that you're speaking with, and the gentleman who's in the audience and I have spoken about this in the past. So we're all aware of each other's existence. Just so you know, a portion of the Sergeant's Pond Road is actually owned by the town of Wolfeboro because it was part of the parent parcel that subdivision was created from. So I just don't want to, I think we're muddling two different issues here. They're separate from each other. The easement deed that we're talking about doesn't cover any portion of the road at all. It abuts the road, but the road is not on the easement property.
So what's the easement going to give the watershed?
Oh, they will be the holders of the easement. It doesn't give them anything, it gives them work to do is what it does. They will now, if this is approved, they will have monitoring and maintenance responsibilities. In this case, more monitoring than maintenance. They will periodically walk the boundaries. They will make sure the markings are, the borders are refreshed so that there's tree tags, for example, identifying it as conservation property. They will identify any encroachments that are happening, and then will try to figure out who is committing the encroachment and try to get it corrected. That's the extent of it.
And am I correct? The town owned that land. The town will still own that land. The only thing that's being moved is the conservation easement.
Correct.
And who pays attention to whether that land and that easement is being properly maintained.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing here. And the money that the Conservation Commission gets from the current use tax was voted on as the process by the voters of this town.
Correct. And it's governed by state RSA too, by the way, because we did look into that, and there's very strict rules on how you can spend that money, and it really has to be for conservation purposes. It's up to the lawyers whether a road counts as conservation.
Board members, early in the meeting, the gentleman wanted to say something in public input, and I said, you can come up now. So I'm going to, since we were kind to each other and got away with not a lot of public time tonight, we'll give you a couple of minutes. How's that?
Take a few minutes.
Good, thank you.
My name is Matthew Sargent. I live in 48 Sergeant's Pond Road. I'm the impromptu spokesman for the road, and some of the people who live on the road are in attendance tonight. As some of you know, there's been a contentious relationship between us, the residents of Sergeant's Pond, and the town of Wolfeboro. Lenore's correct. Sergeant's Pond Road is a private road who is maintained by the citizens of the road. you know, in accordance with state RSA 231. I've heard that RSA's used, you know, exponentially here this evening. To that regard, the town of Wolfeboro claims title to land in that road as well, but doesn't contribute at all, will not. I've had discussions with Jim Pinio, your former colleague, or your predecessor, many times, probably 4 times I've met with him, to try to get some resolution to the fact that the town of Wolfeboro will not pay a dime to support the care and maintenance of the road in accordance with the RSA. So we finally come to a conclusion that the town isn't going to work with us, that the town has, through the conservation area, provided access on our private road. So what's happened is you have public access across a private road that a municipal entity will not pay for. But we do. We have to pay for all of it. We have to pay for all the care and maintenance of the road. That's in the spring and in the fall. When there's a catastrophic failure of, say, the culverts on the road, which we experienced back in 2021, we bore the cost of that. The town wouldn't even talk to me about that, Jim Pinio. So until we get that resolved, I'm opposed to this transfer. Because how is the Conservation Commission going to access that area if the North Line Road, the original Sergeant's Pond Road, because that was, John is correct, I remember when I was young, I used to drive, I'm not from Wolfeboro, I'm from Alton, but I used to drive all over the place, and that was one of the roads I used to go up and down for the fun of it. It was way back in the 70s. Until we get this resolved, I'm opposed to it, and so are a lot of the members on our road. As it is right now, we're in dispute with the town because of this issue. We feel that the conservation area should not be accessed by our private road. By the fact that the town doesn't take any responsibility in the road, and that conservation area is out of sight, out of mind. It's never policed. It's never cleaned up. My wife and myself walk our dog. We have a big Great Pyrenees. You guys may have seen us. We're down at the end of Sergeant's Pond Road every morning, and we're down at the pond every afternoon. So we get to see what goes on there day after day after day. I don't know how many times I've had to pull the picnic table out of the launch because people went down there in the evening, threw the picnic table into the launch. We found various and sundry things that I won't mention in this meeting on that property. Disgusting. The town is a terrible steward of the property, not being taken care of. So until all those issues are resolved, we're fundamentally opposed to this transfer and for access to the Bill Ray Conservation Area over our road. And I call it our road because the town takes no responsibility in the road whatsoever.
Thanks, sir.
So thank you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate for you to listening to me this evening. And
Mr. Duché?
I'm welcome. John Thurston and I have had dialogue. Lenore and I have had dialogue, but we're getting nowhere. And the big issue has always been in the past that, well, you're not affiliated, you're not organized. Well, pretty soon that's going to change. We're going to be a corporation, the Sergeant's Pond Road Corporation, and we will be affiliated. So maybe you want to deal with us then, I don't know. But I really want to get this resolved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more, Brian?
Yeah, so there is a mechanism, and it's called emergency lanes. And there is a way that your group can get together under RSA. Do you have a pen?
Sure. No, I don't have it with me, but that's okay.
RSA 231:59A allows municipalities to authorize emergency lanes if the general public is crossing over a private road to get to town-owned property. So it's RSA 231:59A. So it's a lot of work. What you'll have to do is you'll have to get the people in your street to agree to it, and then you'll have to get 25 signatures from town residents, and you have to put a petition warrant article on our ballot. The voters have to vote yes to have the town take and manage the maintenance of that road, and then it has to be put into place by a vote of the select board. So there are towns, a lot in New Hampshire, that do have private lanes in situations like this.
Mr. Sargent, you got some free advice. I'm not sure it's legally free, but you got some free advice. The question before us, though, Lenore, it sounds like there's some unanswered issues. We're not going to fix it right now, but I think there's a homework assignment, for Nathan to get involved with. The input is appropriate. Whether it has a bearing on the assumption of the easement is a different discussion, but the input is very appropriate here. So I think you need to take that into consideration. With that, I think we're done.
Okay, and just for what it's worth, the commission voted to purchase a closed from dusk till dawn signage to give the police something to enforce, which I don't believe we've been in touch with the residents. I was in touch with one resident, but not. There's no homeowners association, but we're waiting on quotes from JC Signs and from one other source. So we are working on that issue. We're trying to work with the residents on that problem.
Mr. Thurston wants one last
one last one.
Yep,
so it says here that next step is to gain select board approval. Commission attorney Jim Coles reviewed the deed and discussed the assignment with the attorney. I saw it on the manifest. So who does Jim Coles represent? It looked like in the letter that Jim Coles was representing the Wentworth Watershed Association.
No, he's the Conservation Commission lawyer.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Lenore. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, next item on the agenda, I'm going to need somebody to read the annual Arbor Day proclamation. Who would like to do that?
Brian's a good reader.
Brian's been really good at, busting through the minutes. So you want to read it for us, Brian?
Tree City, USA, official proclamation. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution for combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-saving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in the city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, we, the Select Board of Wolfeboro, New Hampshire, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2026 as Arbor Day in the town of Wolfeboro, New Hampshire, and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, we urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations, dated this date, which is the 15th, right?
Yes.
We're on the 15th?
15th.
April 15th in 2026.
That's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Dave, you in? You good?
Yes.
Unanimous, thank you.
I didn't bring it, but do we know the date in which they're going to be planting trees in town? Does anybody remember what that date is?
Anybody know? Steve, tree planting time? May 1st?
They're going to do it May 1st?
On May 1st.
Okay.
Be planting trees on May 1st, which happens to be the day of the proclamation, which is actually pretty good. Okay, next item on our agenda. This is they're asking for permission. Wolfeboro Community Television is going to visit with us tonight to have a conversation and seek our permission to investigate the acoustics here at the Great Hall. Not a popular topic by many people, So please come on up.
What'd you say, Paul?
Not a, huh?
Yeah.
Sure.
Good evening, and thank you for your time. This is Mary Schillereff. I am representing WCTV because Timothy is not able to be here tonight. Let me put on my glasses. Exactly what Paul said. The point of this is to revisit the 2016 assessment. Some of you that are around are familiar with it. That is available data. It spoke specifically to a different event. This has to do mostly with people in the audience present and the capacity to understand what's being said. So what we're asking for is just the opportunity, permission to revisit the study, speak to other acoustic experts whom have already support this and will help us in the study. It's no cost to anybody, and we would bring the findings back. It does not obligate WCTV or the town to any expenditures. It is strictly for information gathering purposes. It does respond to public concerns about in-person audibility and supports accessible public meetings reasonably heard by attendees.
Huh? Did you all get the prior study in your packet?
Well, I think it was emailed to us.
It was emailed?
Yes.
Did you all get it, John? Did you get a copy of it in your packet?
Yeah.
Okay. So a long while ago, 2016, and we're going to thank Jim and Amy for doing this. They dug these data up to try to help, tell you what the journey was. Anything. So I'm glad we all have it. Board members, questions?
I'll just give a little. This was done by the Friends of Music, and they wanted to see if they could have a concert in here. And I think it has a lot of good data in it, and I think it makes sense for community TV to take that and to come back with suggestions for us and for the public as a possibility.
I appreciate you doing it. It's a little outside of your remit, right?
Outside of our what?
It's a little bit outside of your remit, but it helps all of us,
right,
because this is the place where we are always being admonished that you can't hear what we're saying.
So do you need a motion?
Yeah, a minute.
May I say one more thing? Thank you, Linda, for making that clarification. Part of the concerns of the original review was how is it going to impact this
Sure.
extraordinary space, and that isn't something that we're looking at. We're not going to hang things. That's out of the question. It potentially wouldn't even. It wouldn't even work. So we're respecting the historic nature of things. It may not have anything to do with hanging or having spaces on either side that absorb things. I know one particular thing has to do with the HVAC. It can be very simple. We just appreciate the opportunity to pursue it.
Mr. Duchesne, you want to give us a motion?
So I'll make a motion to...
hang on. We'll do it after we second it, John. Let's get the motion in second, then you can have your question. Go ahead.
So I make a motion to have the Wolfeboro Community Television do a Great Hall acoustics review to investigate how to make the hall more usable for music events, for plays and shows, and have better audible acoustics for meetings.
I'll second that.
All right, motion and second. John, you want to make a comment?
So are you going to do this when there's events in here, or do you have a time frame of this?
So what, I've learned a lot in the past month. All of a sudden I learned more about how this all works. So it's really just mathematics. So the study that was done by Mr. Eric Reuter, that data is viable now. It doesn't really matter so much what's here, there, everywhere. I mean, we could put carpet down. That would fix things. But the math exists. What has changed in the last 10 years is the technologies that can mediate the issue. We just need the opportunity and your permission to pursue those things through experts in the field.
So when you accomplish that, will you be coming to us for funding to implement?
Well, wouldn't that be wonderful for you to support that? What we're going for is what can we do best for the people who are sitting in the audience. I was here one night, I sat right there, and I couldn't understand the person that was speaking here. So it's not one little tiny thing. We know that what you guys have been talking about this forever and ever and ever. The technology has changed. I don't know what it's going to cost. That's what we're asking for, is permission to pursue.
Linda?
Yeah, I think it's going to give us information for the board and for the public. And there are many ways in which we can fund something.
Maybe we can find
the
grants.
chairs of all in here are all donated. It doesn't mean that there isn't another way to do it than just to out of the taxpayers. But we could do that too. But I think they're going to provide us with some information that we don't have right now.
Brian?
Yeah, and there's potential we could find a grant.
There's another one.
I know that the study that was done was free back in 2016. And it's substantial. It's 23 pages long.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I'll call the question. All those in favor of Brian's motion, aye?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, we're all agreed. Good luck.
We'll be back.
Huh? Okay, good. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the 2026 commercial vessel landing permits for Big Sandy, the YMCA of Greater Boston, Millie B, New Hampshire Boat Museum, Clearwater Boat Charters, Clearwater Lodges, and the New Hampshire State Police Marine Patrol. Reminder for all of us is we paused on pricing for the 2026 season. We also paused on the proposed ordinance that we were going to make amends. So we're just doing as if we're 2025. And so anybody want to comment or come up to the microphone and speak to these items? Trooper? Gentlemen?
Hi, good evening. My name's Chip Beerweiler. I'm the manager of the Millie B, and we operate through the New Hampshire Boat Museum. I'm here this evening to ask for consideration for approval for our application for a commercial docking permit in the slip that we have used in the past seasons for this season for the Millie B. As you may know, the Millie B provides a cultural and educational experience for our summer guests who spend vacation time here in Wolfeboro, as well as the surrounding communities. We also provide a unique experience for wedding venues, anniversaries, and other special occasions. Operating through the New Hampshire Boat Museum, we are a nonprofit organization and wish to continue our mission here in Wolfeboro. My understanding is that we've already made the first down payment for the permit, and our insurance policy has been already been turned in, and the renewed one happens in June. We'll be turning that in when we get it. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Okay. Folks, all of the applicants for those vessel landing permits, it's important, and there's no hidden agenda here. It's important that you all keep in touch with each other for landing and taking off. You know, we got the mount coming in. We got a whole bunch of things. So just keep doing what you're doing. You know, keeping each other statused on times, which is important for all of us. Trooper, anything you want to offer? And Linda, we have a question.
I will after you get this.
Okay.
I got it.
Good evening, select board members. I appreciate your time. For those that don't know me, I'm Lieutenant Erwin Mallet. I'm the commander of the New Hampshire State Police Marine Patrol Unit, and I'm here this evening to respectfully request permission again from the town of Wolfeboro to utilize a boat slip at the Wolfeboro Town Docks for one of our patrol vessels for the duration of the 2026 boating season. This arrangement has been extremely valuable to us in the past years. Having a patrol vessel available and stationed here at Wolfeboro provides us with strategic presence on Lake Winnipesaukee on this side, with our base stationed out of Glendale in Guilford. It allows for our officers and our troopers to more effectively conduct boating safety patrols and respond to incidents across the lake. Just as importantly, it allows us to support your local police and fire departments with a much faster response time to this side of the lake, particularly for emergencies on the islands or in surrounding areas where access can be challenging. We anticipate needing the slip. Well, I saw it's already been declared, so at the earliest of your convenience, you can let us know. We've already started placing our boats in Guilford, and we have since had many boating activity already launching from the many areas of the lake. But we anticipate using it through about October, depending on the weather and ice. And we'll ensure that our vessels are properly secured at your docks with the appropriate fenders and security measures. One to always protect our vessel, but also protect your town property. We've always greatly appreciated the partnership with the town of Wolfeboro, and we appreciate your continued support in helping us keep the lake safe for the residents and visitors alike. So I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions? No. John?
So last year, you came here and we asked you if you would do a safety check program, and I heard through the grapevine that you did have that, but the day wasn't very good.
Oh, okay. Was it weather related?
It was weather related.
Okay.
It was a cold and rainy day.
Yeah, so just like as last year, it's not because of what you guys are allowing us to use. It's the role of Marine Patrol and State Police. We're happy to coordinate those efforts. So if you want Amy to contact the same person she contacted last year, Miss Stephanie Coker, we can arrange something similar.
Yeah, that's good.
That turned into an inquiry that can evolve. I mean, we've had discussions with Amy regarding what exactly you folks were looking for. We do safety inspections on a regular basis. Our boating education program is always trying to do outreach programs to further educate the public, but also just get out there and talk about boating safety in general. So we're always looking for those avenues, and if you're willing to have us, we're happy to come.
So we would love to have you, and we'd like to be able to possibly put it on the town's website so that the public can be informed if you so desire.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to coordinate that communication back to our office, we can schedule the date and times that will be available with the officers or troopers, and also boating ed instructors.
Thank you.
Linda, did you have an item?
Yeah, I do. With these, and it doesn't apply to the Marine Patrol, but we also, with the application, have an application for a sign permit. And there's a certain amount of space on that. And I know the Mount Washington has one, the Millie B. We as a board should get a look at that space. We have an application for Clearwater boat charters, and we'll need to assign a spot for it. So I think this is a due item for us.
Does it? You see it stands in the way of approving these, or?
No, I'm just saying this is another piece of this whole thing. They can have the landing permits. We have to decide on the placement of the signs. And this is another one, and I don't know how much space there is out there.
Historically, you guys have gone right behind the electric department boat. That arrangement's worked out very nice. We, as speaking on part of our boat, that's been fine. I don't know of any conflicts, but.
No, it has worked for us as well.
But Linda's making a point. We're putting more people on the front docks. We probably need, it's signage. It's a signage issue.
This doesn't relate to Marine Patrol, but there's an area that's there, there's railings, and there's a lot of stuff on it, and what we found was it wasn't by first come, first serve. We gave spots, and this is a new application in, so we need to get a spot for them and make sure we have when we look at these applications come through. But I'll make a motion that we approve the Big Sandy, the Millie B, the Clearwater Boat Charter, and the New Hampshire State Police Marine Patrol boats and their commercial vehicle landing
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
for 2026.
Motion and a second by Mr. Duché. Short conversation.
Discussion.
We got 30 minutes. John?
Okay, so I'm just going to go over these real quick. So we have the Big Sandy 2, which is a non-for-profit, benefits camps and other places. It's a 39-foot vessel. It's coming in for $1.56 per landing for 18 times a year for $28. We have the Millie B. It's a non-profit. It's 28 feet long for $1.12 for 1,032 landings for $1,155.84. We have the Clearwater boat charters. It's a 22-foot boat for 88 cents per landing, 10 times a year for $8.80 per year.
Okay. Thank you for that. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Senek, will you?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, board, we're going to be shutting down at 9 o'clock, so I'm not trying to rush you, Tom, but Tom, I got to rush you.
Well, we shouldn't have to rush. We need to do our business. And if we have to go longer, we have to go longer.
Business.
We do. We need to
All
take
right.
the time.
Thank you. Tom Zotti, Fire Chief. You have before you a memo from the previous town manager, which includes a memo from me, outlining the process we followed to develop the pricing for the new ambulance as part of the ambulance transport project. Obviously, as you know, the warrant article passed, so we've moved to finalizing the purchase. To summarize it for the folks within the sound of my voice, during the process of reviewing specs and so forth and developing the price and the cost items that we put forth as part of the warrant article that passed, we got written quotes from a number of vendors. And we presented the what we felt was the most cost-effective of those that we received to move forward. The issue we found was, long story short, we received a visit from one of the vendors who brought a demonstration ambulance with them. And as we looked at it, we realized this is very close to what we feel would meet our needs. And in discussions with them, that one had been spoken for, but fast forward a little bit, and we were able to work with Town Manager Pinio at the time to place a small refundable deposit on another demonstration ambulance that was on the assembly line but hadn't yet been spoken for. The deposit was refundable should that warrant article have not passed. Obviously it did, and we'd like to move forward. The issue before you is that we didn't do a formal RFP. We did receive written quotes, which copies are attached, from at least 3 vendors, and we've chosen to move forward with Auto-Tronics of Madawaska, Maine, who has supplied ambulances recently to Wakefield and Alton, among other local communities. The price is competitive with the other quotes that we received for the ambulance itself and the equipment we need installed on it, and their delivery time would be the intent would deliver it to us approximately the end of June. The other vendors were literally 2 and 3 years out. Obviously, that presents us with an issue if we had to go that route, where we would have to arrange for a loaner or a rental or something to allow us to provide the service during the course of that delivery time. So Auto-Tronics has met with Deputy Evangelista, and he'd be happy to answer any questions. We can do some limited customization of that vehicle that's on the assembly line. It would be delivered to their dealership in Maine sometime in May, and with the final touches put on it, delivered to us before the end of June. That would allow us to move forward with getting it licensed and inspected and so forth, getting the staff comfortable with it, getting all the equipment mounted and so forth, and put us in a great position to move forward with the ability to provide both ambulances in service before the end of 2026. And be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Board members, in your packet, you have a note from Mr. Pinio and Barry on this topic. Presumably you've read it. The justification has been laid out by Jim and Barry. Any questions, board members, of the chief? You got one, John?
So what's a demo?
A demo in this case is a vehicle that is being built. It's on the assembly line, but hasn't yet been spoken for. It hasn't been purchased. They tend to produce them with the ability to then bring them to different departments and say, here's our product. This is on the assembly line, so when it's delivered to us, it will be a new vehicle. It's just as I said, we have limited ability to customize some of the features, but we felt it was completely appropriate for our intended needs.
John, it's probably buried in your detail. Jim actually said, I would note that the term demo is used by the manufacturers to classify an ambulance in production which does not have a purchaser. So it's work in process. Linda.
Yeah, the question in front of us is, do we feel like we are comfortable waiving the procurement policy? And from what I have read, we have 3 quotes, which we've got a comparison. And I think the big issue is the different in the delivery time in which we could get an ambulance. I'm comfortable because we have 3 quotes in all to waive the procurement policy.
Brian?
So I'll move to waive the procurement policy for the purchase of a new ambulance from Autotronics Professional Vehicles, based on this vehicle is less expensive than our 2 additional quotes, comes with more kit already, and can be delivered 2 years earlier.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to waive the procurement policy. Conversation? Anybody? Let's do a roll call on this one because it's a big expense.
Yes.
Mr. Senecal, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Deshays, Ms. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Thurston?
Abstain.
Mr. Thurston abstains. I vote yes. The motion carries. Okay, thank you, Chiefs.
Thank you.
Okay, appreciate it very much. Okay, the next is crosswalk rendering. Mr. Randall, crosswalk rendering. Hi. There he comes.
Good evening, Steve Randall, Public Works. When I was here 2 weeks ago, I put out a proposal to kind of reset our crosswalks to red with white stripes. After some conversations back and forth, Mr. Thurston asked for 3 stripes in each lane, and then former town manager Jim Pinio asked me to kind of put that together for something for you to look at, and that's what you have right there in front of you.
Okay. So what is, board members? Yeah.
Just people.
Yeah. Questions from the board?
So the only thing that I would do is I would like to make a motion that we follow the DOT standards that I provided, and that I love this, it's beautiful, but I would like to see 5 stripes on each lane painted to the size and the distance in between the DOT recommends if they fit in our roadway.
So I have
If I may.
well, let me just get a second and then we can have a chat. I got a motion from Brian that says, go ahead, follow DOT standards as long as those standards don't get squished, my word, in our existing infrastructure. I have a motion there. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Dave seconds it.
Discussion?
Yeah, please.
So, Steve, I was wondering, thank you, Brian. I was wondering why you didn't come to us with that set of standards that Brian just talked about.
So a couple of things with Brian's standard is each crosswalk, I'm not going to say is unique, but they're somewhat unique. It all depends on the road width size, the road it is, the speed limits. So 3 each lane, 5 each lane, that is a universal. The reason why I went with the original with no stripes was strictly to reset our entire town so that as we are going forward, then next year we can do everything up to par. If we're going to go with the book per se this year, that's fine. I'm all for that. I don't think we can put any restrictions as to how many lines are in each crosswalk. That would have to be decided on the road width and all of that, which is fine. We can do that. All I would need is the direction from you folks to say, do the crosswalks per code, and that would be it. And then we can do those.
Okay.
And I'm fine with that either way.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second. John, did you get your question answered?
I did. Yep, I did.
You good? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Let's call the question. Or do you have more?
Oh, well, I have input. Can I have input?
Yeah, yeah.
So basically, I like Brian's motion, but I would defer to the Public Works Director to fit the appropriate lines in where he can.
I think,
That was my motion.
I think that motion that he launched gives you wiggle room.
Yeah.
You can't just indiscriminately do it, but if you can fit DOT standard, you go DOT standard.
Yep, I would ask personally, we take the 5 that he said out of that,
Yeah.
and just do DOT standard and leave it at that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Okay with that.
Okay, so we're going to modify the motion, take 5 out and go DOT standard.
And that would just mean that the stripes, the white stripes would be certain width, certain distance in between, so on and so on. And then
Correct.
that way, where the road's narrower or wider, they all fit.
Spacing is
nice.
24 to 30 inches between each line, so if you have a roadway that's 40 feet wide, you're going to have X amount of
Yep.
cross. If it's 20, you're only going to have this many.
Yeah.
So
I have
that
an
will take
amended
care of it.
motion and a second. Did the second get amended as well, Dave? You seconded?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Before you vote, we still good with the red? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the lines on the outside, because if I look here on the DOT, I don't see any lines on the outside, so it's just.
We're gonna do the lines on the
Brian.
outside.
We'll
So
follow DOT.
we're going to say we'll do different.
Correct.
And put the white lines on the outside.
Yeah,
Okay, just
Show
want
us
to
a
make
revised
sure.
rendering so we
No,
get
let's get it done.
Let's get it done. Okay. I'm going to call the question. All those in favor of Mr. Duche's amended motion? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Dave, you good?
All right.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Next item on the agenda is the jet ski final lease review and approval. This is in Back Bay. There was a lease agreement that was put together. Applicant came up a week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. It's for a 1-year agreement. The price on the lease is comparables. There was a question asked by Mr. Thurston. Nathan put some language back in there. Board, I don't think there's anybody here to discuss it. Board, what would you like to do?
So I'll move to approve the jet ski final license agreement based on input from our town attorney for the 2026 season, pending insurance just received and all the rules and regulations in the license agreement itself.
We have a motion.
So wait, so when are we naming each?
Let's get a second for conversation.
I will second it as long as we note revised number 2, 3/31/2026, so we know what we're,
Okay.
we just know that this is the one with the changes in this, and I'm fine with that.
Mr. Thurston?
So maybe I'm not seeing it, but are we seeing the VIN for each jet ski written into this lease?
No? You want the VINs on the jet ski?
Well, again, so I did a little research, and it says if you don't have the VIN number or the bow number for each jet ski listed on your insurance certificate, you're not covered.
Okay, so
And I think I asked that question.
I think you asked the question of me. I don't think or did you ask the question of somebody else?
Maybe I didn't ask it
Yeah.
of everybody.
All right, so what do you want to do? John's saying we have a lease agreement that in the insurance, maybe we just make sure that the VIN numbers are on the insurance document. And when we had this, here's the question I have is, if I have X number of jet skis and I bring another jet ski because one has gone out of service, do we have to keep adding VIN numbers? Bow numbers?
I would say so.
How do we do that?
I wonder.
Yes.
I think we need to find out whether this insurance policy covers all their jet skis. in a pile.
So the example is, if you went on TripAdvisor, there was a instance where there was a jet ski that was brought in by another member of the business, and then the owner of the business said, no, you can't rent that jet ski for liability purposes because it wasn't a jet ski that was underneath their liability contract. So,
But I don't know whether this insurance policy, they may have 8 of them down here, but they may have a fleet of 25. Does this insurance policy cover all those 25? That's what I'm trying to say, because I would imagine the company is insured for all its vessels. Like we are in the town of Wolfeboro, we have Primex, it does all of them.
so when we have Primex or you have insurance for your vehicle, they get a VIN number for your vehicle.
But they may have, what I'm saying is they may have them all here. If this is a rider, on your rider, the insurance company tells you exactly what you've given them. If they have a policy that has all their equipment listed, then this insurance policy covers them all.
So we don't know that.
So are you comfortable with accepting the motion on a condition that VIN numbers or BOW numbers be provided?
Correct.
Yes. And the owner of the company just texted me and said he has all that.
That's what I thought. See, that's
He
why
says
I think,
he has it all, he just didn't supply his whole
Late-breaking news.
policy.
I mean, yeah, I think we're just making things so difficult. I'm sure that's what it is.
Okay, so
he
amend
can
your
just-
motion.
So I will amend my motion to approve the jet ski license agreement per insurance documentation that shows that all vessels are insured under their liability policy.
Any other VIN number or BOW number is provided.
Yes.
Second.
So he unseconded you, he seconded that. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Thank you, John. That was good. Appreciate that. Next item is Rules of Procedure, Code of Conduct, and Committee Assignments. It's 9:15. This will occupy a lot of time. I believe, personal opinion, that we got to get this one right. We got to study and discuss how we relate to ourselves and how we relate to the town manager. I think this is a big conversation. Do we want to start it up, or do we want to call a meeting next Wednesday?
I would say, if I look at this, if we do not do that, take that one item to the next, we probably can get through. We have one conversation on a temporary event, then we have other business, old business, and committee reports, and we may be able to get just about that done in the time we have.
Is that a motion to move this to next Wednesday to a meeting?
So moved.
Work plan meeting?
Second.
Is that a work meeting?
No, it's finishing up this agenda.
Yeah, okay.
Is what I think it would fall under, and this is what we have here is the rules of a procedure. I don't see the work plan listed on that.
No, it's not.
Okay, so
No,
the work
what I
plan
meant
is
by that, Linda, is a work session, or we're just going to finish up the agenda?
well, I thought that's what we were going to try to do.
Okay, let's finish up the agenda. So there's a motion to move this to next Wednesday, which is the 22nd.
And I seconded it.
At 6 p.m.
And that's to finish up the agenda.
It's to finish up at least at a minimum, item H, the Rules of Procedure, Code of Conduct. Read them carefully. There's a lot in there that needs to get updated, rethought, rediscussed, crossover boards. There's stuff in there that's got whiskers on it, and we just got to get it right. So I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Dave?
Yes.
We're meeting next Wednesday. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is temporary event permit ordinance. I believe this is Mr. Duché.
So I would like to make a motion that all of our temporary outdoor event permit applications are approved by staff and then come to the select board for our final signatures will be placed on the town website in a location where they will be easily viewed by all for their date and time, and that the chair of the select board at the meeting will read a list of all the permits that have been approved and give a quick one-sentence summary of what they are and when they will be held.
That's a motion?
Yes.
I have a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Senical. Discussion, please. Linda?
Yeah, I'm opposed to it. I think one of the things that us holding those hearings, one, it lets people know that they're taking place. A bunch of them come in to explain their event so the public gets a better understanding. There are quite a number of people who view our meetings on television. We know the state of our newspaper, and this is one of the ways we get information out to the public, and I think it's important for the non-profits and for the organization and for the public to hear about them from the people who are putting them on.
Mr. Motioner, do you have a thought?
Yeah, I'd call the question.
You want anything you want to offer before it comes in? Okay, let's call the question. The motion before us, seconded by Mr. Senical. Roll call. Mr. Thurston?
Yes.
Mr. Thurston, yes. Linda?
No.
No. Brian?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Paul? Yes.
I would like to make sure, and I will check it, that there is no legal issue with this. I know that it went in as an ordinance, and Brian was able to look at it today. This came up. This is one of those that we have no information on. We just did the same thing we did with the sidewalks. Okay. No information.
Okay. So the ordinance is in the packet, but if you believe there's something inappropriate or we did something dumb here, please bring it up. Okay. We tabled the Libby trustees meeting. Any other business?
Yes, I have some other business. I received an email from Grant Hatch asking me to meet with him and a pickleball players group regarding lining the tennis courts for pickleball and be able to use more of the courts. And he would like Christine Collins or Bo or somebody from Park and Rec, the interim town manager, and a select board member. He asked me to be that select board member. It would be a working session, and I wanted to let the board know that I had been asked to take part in that, and I wanted to know whether the group was comfortable with me just doing it or whether they would like the board chair to join me.
No objection.
No objection. Board chair joins? Okay.
No objection.
No objection. Mr. Senical?
None.
Linda, you and I are going to have a meeting.
Okay.
All right? Great. Thank you for that. And I think that's the right thing to do. Just take it off the board, go sit in a room and sort it out and let all of us know what we discussed. All right, town manager's report. Or is there any other business? I'm sorry, any other business? Town manager's report?
You know, not a lot, Paul, besides getting up to speed on everything. I attended the senior luncheon on Monday. That was nice. Meeting a lot of folks, so onward.
Thank you for what you're doing, Barry. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Committee reports. John?
I saw the planning board meeting on TV the other night.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
You good? Mr. Senical.
Conservation Commission, you heard part of the discussion at the meeting the other night had to do with the watershed. There was a, in your file tonight too, there was a timber tax report. That was all cutting that the Conservation Commission did. They are starting to gear up for their different trails for the summer. So they're pretty busy. That's all I had.
Thank you, sir. Brian?
Well, we've had
Well, yeah,
multiple meetings.
other than all the meetings we had.
It's been really
multiple meetings about how we're going to find a new town manager. I had a Libby trustee meeting, and I have some questions that I brought to the board that will be answered. I had a event at Trenta, Linda and I did. It was a great event. It was the business recap for 2025. It was attended by at least 50 businesses. And we had great discussions, and there'll be information forthcoming, but in a quick summary, it's mostly still about communication between the town and the businesses. They say that that's their number one thing that they, at least in the group that I dealt with and what I heard from the general populace, that it was the businesses need more communication with the town as a whole.
Okay. Linda?
Yeah, I attended the library trustees meeting. The library will be putting out a survey to the public to find out the community needs and wants. It'll go out this summer. It is what they're going to use to work on a new 3-year strategic plan. And I'd like to give you some of the statistics. The programs for adults, number of programs is up 33%. The attendance is up 89%. Children's programs are the same, but the attendance is up 141%. And auto books are up 4%. It is a facility that is being used all the time. I also attended the community TV meeting today, and I'll let you know that the new server is up and running. There may be a few adjustments. The goal was to have it up and going April 1, and they met that timeline. The other thing is, part of the Breeze Line Network modernization for Wolfeboro Community TV public access education and government programs will now be found on Breeze Line cable channel 983, 984, and 985. So the old number 25 is 984. This started today. So that was a big change moving over. I attended the Chamber's Executive Board meeting, and today I attended a meeting on the Russ Pond 319 grant. We were talking with Lori Kennedy from Horsley Witten. Steve Randall was there, and the leaders of Russ Pond, and getting that going forward. And I was also at the Trenta meeting.
Thank you. I attended the planning board meeting the other evening. It's getting busy in that part of the world. I did not attend the police commission meeting. We had other things going on, but I encourage people to just take a look at the recent police commission video. Our chief gave an outstanding data presentation of what's going on in the police department, kind of along the lines of what's happening in other departments. There's a new chair of the police commission, and that's Mr. Kevin Duffy. And as you saw earlier in the meeting, I have been spending with my colleagues a lot of time, good time, trying to get ourselves ready to start the recruitment effort for a new town manager. And that is moving along. Any questions from the press? Barry, is there anybody out there?
I have nobody out there that is signaling such.
All right, we're 2 minutes to 9.
I messed up. I had a Heritage Commission meeting, 2 of them actually, on the 6th and the 8th. They were just concerned about the potential new boathouse being built down on...
Across the street.
Yeah, okay. Across the street. And I attended the senior lunch with Barry.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
And you did too. And I'm working with the Energy Committee and Barry and our finance director on getting the solar grant, the final $50,000 piece, to finish paying off the solar at the library so that it will be $50,000 that the taxpayers don't have to pay.
Okay, public input? Suzanne? 3 minutes, please.
Suzanne Ryan. Linda, I think that possibly regarding special events being announced and handled through the Board of Selectmen may have been a warrant article.
That's what I think.
And if it was a warrant article, I think you'll have to either honor it or rescind it.
Or modify it.
I don't think you can just arbitrarily make that decision like you did tonight.
That's what I need to investigate. Yep.
We'll look at it. Thank you.
1992.
1992.
It was with that.
Sebastian.
Sebastian Tornado, resident. I have two comments on the previous discussions that occurred. The one on the acoustics of the building. The simplest thing is speak up. I mean, you get people up here that, you know, they stand like this and they mumble. It's like nobody can hear you. You have to get close to the microphone, and that also goes for you guys. Some of you sometimes stand away from the microphone. Get close so we can hear you. Some of us are hard of hearing. The other thing I was going to say is about the crosswalks. Do you know why there's a lot of motorcycle accidents and a lot of car pedestrian accidents? It's because car drivers are programmed to look for cars. Even now, where there's no cars parked along the side of the road, if you drive down South Main Street to North Main Street, it's not until you get right to the crosswalk that you see somebody standing there. You don't pay attention to them. You're looking straight ahead, looking for vehicles. You don't look at pedestrians until they're in the crosswalk. And that's when you notice them, hopefully, unless somebody else comes along and hits them. So whether you have one parking space or two parking spaces, drivers are programmed to look for other cars. Unless you've got a flashing beacon that says someone's in the crosswalk, they don't see them until they're in the crosswalk.
Thank you.
Bobby Bidman. On that note, I just want to thank Steve Randall for putting effort into the crosswalks, but also for getting our permit in for the school zone out front. Thank you.
You got your question answered. Okay. Anybody else?
Just a quick one. When you're making the decision about what to do with the crosswalks, you can do all kinds of things with crosswalks, but if people don't use them, I mean, it makes, we've got one spot, two spots. Both of those people that were injured were not in the crosswalk, even though right down the street, there in front of Harvest, there's one of those flashing lights, super safe kind of things. So I think we should think more about what the chamber presented, that there's such a limited number of parking spaces downtown, or in this town period, that we really need to think about the businesses and not so much whether, I mean, if people get hit when they don't use the crosswalk, even when they're there. So, I mean, I worked at Avery for 10 years. We had windows. We would look out the window. People would yell out. We'd open the windows and yell out, use the crosswalks. I mean, you'd have whole families walking in the middle of the road. So.
Thank you for that. Okay, one more. Good evening.
Ann Blodgett, thanks for your hard work. I'm pleased to see that you're moving forward with a professional search. But I really look forward to you guys talking about some of the high-level priorities coming up. You know, we hear about the big things, but we don't hear you talking about them. So, what's Paul holding up? Am I supposed to read that?
Yes, it's the squint. It's the squint chart.
Squint chart. Okay, so things like the 92% sewer thing, but we keep seeing approvals going through, and, you know, things like that that are going to hit us down the road, or going to hit you down the road, and then hit us down the road. Thank you.
And thank you. Okay. Thanks, everybody. We did something here tonight, and I appreciate all of us.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public session.
Second.
All those in favor? We
Yes,
need an
yes,
aye.
yes.
Aye. 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 You have to say aye. Okay, good. We're going in, what?